Everybody, this video is going to be about all the cons and the pros of moving to Boca Raton in 2024. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. We're going to be showing a clip right here of a snake versus an alligator. So guess who wins? Number one con of moving here to Boca Raton for most people is that it's going to be very expensive compared to everywhere else in the United States. So for this year, 2024, Area Vibes has declared that Boca Raton, the cost of living index is now over 132. So 100 is going to be the national's average of what it's going to be like living anywhere else in the United States. And Boca is actually 132. Just to put in perspective, Florida overall is 96. So Florida is actually cheaper than the national average as a state as a whole, but Boca is quite more expensive. So according to Area Vibes, the cost of living index here in Boca Raton is now above 132, while the state alone is 99. So Boca is a lot more expensive than most places in the state of Florida. And what's driving this is mainly the cost of living. So Florida has a cost of living index for housing of 96, while Boca has a cost of living house index score of above 192. So those are numbers. So what does that mean for you? So what it meant for me when I moved down here, I moved from a place where, you go to a nice Spanish restaurant and they provide you with chips and salsa free of cost. But here, a lot of these restaurants are actually going to be charging you for your chips. And talking on the same note there, went to an Indian restaurant that's located in Royal Palm Plaza, ordered a chicken tikka marsala for about $18, and it did not include rice. Rice was an additional fee on top of that. So just keep in back of your mind, everything's going to have hidden costs that's going to bring up the price of going out, of food. Everything's a little bit more expensive here, but you do get a lot of these places are a lot more finer and upscale. So the Spanish restaurants around here tend to be more of a luxurious Spanish restaurant, not one of those hole in the wall greasy taco places. So take that with a grain of salt, but you are going to be paying a lot of these places for items that you may have just considered free wherever you're moving from. Now, as you go to a lot of these unique shopping places here in downtown Boca, you're going to realize there's going to be a lot of special boutiques that are going to have very special pricing. So the prices of doing everyday activities, if you want to enjoy the local restaurants or the local shopping places, it's going to be a lot more expensive when compared to other parts of Florida and the United States. Now, some places you may consider a t-shirt of $100 to be quite expensive for a t-shirt. However, here in Boca, you can definitely find stores that have t-shirts from these Italian designers. If you know them, you know them, but they're going to be ranging from about, say, $350 to over $500 for a t-shirt. So just put that in perspective, a lot of things here are very, very upscaled compared to other parts of Florida. And the cost of living, as mentioned by the cost of living index, is very expensive due to housing costs. So if you are looking to buy a house, a single family house here in Boca Raton, and you are waiting, it's going to be much harder in the future. I personally feel that if you wait too long, if you're making less than $200,000 a year, it's going to be very, very difficult to actually purchase a property here in Boca Raton, making less than $200,000 a year very shortly. And talking about higher prices for everything, cost of living index, the property taxes here are a little bit higher than other parts of Florida. So I've noticed when I got my updated property tax here from one of my latest purchases is much greater than other parts of Florida just due to the amount of upkeep they do with a local area. They're always keeping everything well manicured and put together, and that costs money. So you're definitely paying that with your property taxes here in Boca Raton. Number two con has to be the people themselves. So there's a lot of great people here in Boca, but the people that I'm talking about are the spoiled children and the very over demanding people that you may run into here in the city of Boca Raton. So let's start off with these children. So you have a lot of well-off parents who absolutely spoil their children here. Everybody is very family focused and they spoil their kids, but these kids grow up, unfortunately, very spoiled with that mindset, and they start working in the local retail places here, restaurants, and they're about to give you the worst customer service you ever experienced here in South Florida. And mainly it's from these kids who don't have to work, but they're working because their parents are making them, and they don't care about you. They don't care about making you happy. They don't care about the customer. Leave a comment below if you ever experienced bad customer service here in Boca Raton, and please share us about it. And also, it's the demanding people. So a lot of people here can be very demanding for no apparent reason, but they just feel like the world revolves around them. When I went to Parkland and they were able to use roundabouts without fighting and honking their horn whenever they can, really surprised me. And these rude people can be rude to you just directly to your face. That's something I never experienced in North Florida. I've practically been called a peasant before by somebody who was talking to somebody else about if you don't make above $1 million a year, you're practically a peasant. That really surprised me. And the number 4 and final con that we're going to talk about today is going to be dating here in Boca Raton. So I'm very fortunate I'm married. I don't have to worry about this, but I get asked a lot. I'm on actively in the forums of Reddit and Facebook, helping people with their problems. And a problem that is always popular is going to be about dating here in Boca Raton and their experience of dating, especially if you're younger. It might be very difficult, unfortunately. A lot of people in their 20s, a lot of the women are slightly older than them. So if you're not at FAU in a school or program or class where you can meet people readily, it's going to be very difficult. But I definitely heard from multiple people that if you're looking for somebody, Max's Grill is an amazing place to go meet people, especially on Thursday night. So go check it out, talk to a stranger. You might find somebody that could match well with you. All right, now we got done talking about all the negatives. Now are on to the pros. Number 1 pro is that Boca Raton's been voted multiple times one of the best areas for a mixture of urban and suburban life, where you have everything readily very close to you and easy to get to throughout the entire city limits. This includes shopping, restaurants, and also beach life all mixed in together. You never feel like you're in just a beach community. You never feel like you're just in a city environment. You have a great mixture of everything that's very walkable, family friendly, and pretty much anything you can want. I greatly love the Boca area for this. You never feel like you're in a suburb. You got tons of options and people around you to see, people watch. It makes life very interesting, to say the least. Number 2 pro of living here in Boca Raton, it's one of the reasons why I chose this city over the other surrounding areas, is that Boca Raton has some of the best rated schools in the entire Palm Beach County area and the entire Miami metropolitan area as well. So it's really hard to go wrong if you're looking for schools for your kids. This is an amazing place for them to grow up, make friends, network, and have a very good life. Number 3 pro that most people don't talk about is going to be the Brightline station. It connects Miami, Boca, West Palm Beach, now Orlando, and they're planning on bringing it all the way to Jacksonville, Florida. So you can actually visit all these places without having to worry about driving on I-95. It makes everything very well connected in this part of South Florida. You don't have to worry too much about Uber. If you wanted to, you can go take a Brightline to Miami, enjoy the nightlife, stay there, take the Brightline back, and not have to worry about driving, because you know what? It's never good to drive under the influence. Don't recommend doing it. Now, number 4 pro, it's going to be one of the reasons why this place is so expensive to move to, is that a lot of people in this area, they're going to be very well connected, very well off, and a lot of times the top people in their fields that they're working for. So it's an amazing opportunity to network. You can basically go into an ice cream shop and probably meet a few millionaires there. Practically everybody who lives here is very well off. It's very easy to talk to people, learn about what to do, what not to do. Just the other day, I was at a restaurant. I was standing in line. I got to meet an owner of a produce shop that sells produce to all the major grocery stores. You know, I got to learn a little bit more about supply chains, how they're hiring employees, what's their current problems, and I thought it was very insightful. And it's a great way to stay on your feet, stay sharp, learn about more things, and stay in a slightly competitive environment. Now, the number 5 pro, it's going to be that this area is a local paradise in the continental USA that you won't get anywhere else. You won't get these coconut trees. You won't get these palm trees. You won't get a nice warm winter like this compared to anywhere else. And it's not too dry. It's not too wet. Some people can say it's a little bit wet. And it's very different in the southwest part of Florida. Just to show a picture, look at this. This is the rainfall difference between southwest Florida and southeast Florida. And that just puts in perspective, these areas are drastically different in climate and in people. So just take that with a grain of salt. But if you're a firm believer of climate change and you believe that South Florida is sinking, that the sea levels are going to keep rising, and pretty soon this area won't be here. This is a major pro. Some people will be like, you know what, why would I want to move there? In 200 years, this place is gone. I personally would love to have my grandkids say like, oh yeah, my great-grandfather, he was from Atlantis, the area that was sunken into the sea. Because you know what, you might be the last people who live here. You can make your own legacy and stories about it. So it's going to be a unique experience because you know what, if this place goes underneath the water, there won't be another time to live here. And you may be one of the last few people to actually set foot here in this area of South Florida. Now, if you enjoy a video like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're thinking about moving to an area around Boca or Boca itself, please reach out to me. Here's my contact information below. Other than that, take care.
Bye.